My cabbages! Low, man! Ah, my cabbages!
What is up, everybody? It's Where Legal Mindset. We teach you to be your own judge. We got a little bit, I increased the camera angle today, so the super chat should be a little bit lower, and I indeed am a little bit higher, but not rackets high, but just a little bit higher. Good to see everybody today. Of course, this is a Legal Mindset stream. We're going to do a multi-topic nuisance streamer stream. There's a lot of little stuff, but put together, it's worth talking about and discussing. We're going to start with some Somali, then we're going to move over to the American who was arrested for trying to get to the isolated island and his penalties, which I think is hilarious. Then we're going to move over to Japan and finish with Vitaly and some facts about Vitaly, as well as some prison conditions. I have a mini PP today. You might even call it a micro PP today. Very similar to Somali in that respect, the micro PP. But we're going to have some fun today. We're going to enjoy it. We've got at least a meme or two here that was left in the threads from last time over there on X. And it's good to see everybody here today. Of course, I am trying to do a stream or two before we go into what is in Thailand, the Songkran holiday, which is next week. I'll be very busy then, so I won't be streaming as much. There'll probably be some clips coming out, some other information, and maybe I'll have a pre-recorded video or two, but I'll be relatively silent next week. So I am trying to do a little bit now when I can, while I can, before we go into a little bit of a break, a little mini pause for the holidays here in Thailand. I hope you guys are doing well wherever you are in the world, whether you're over there in Europe. I know we got some Euro bros and some guys and gals. And then we got America that's probably just waking up. And we've got, of course, our Asian squad out here. We got so many expats and people viewing, whether you're in the Philippines, whether you're in Thailand, Japan, Korea, Vietnam, Indonesia, Malaysia. Shout out to all of you that are on the east side. I do appreciate all you guys as well. So yeah, mabuhay to all those over there in the Philippines. Appreciate all y'all. Once again, big love to everybody who's helped me out there. I may even have some announcements coming in terms of Vitaly coverage, but we're gonna have to wait for some confirmations. I'm very excited about continuing to cover that topic as well as Somali and as well as any other nuisance streamers to pop up. I'm really dedicated to ending this plague in Asia. Also, I know a lot of other people have been watching my clips. I noticed H3H3, Lotus Eaters, a lot of other people pull my stuff up, and a lot of course, other channels use my material or reference it without, or reference the coverage, even without quoting me. That's still fine, and clipping my content out. That's great. I am happy that this is getting out there. I am happy that everyone is engaged in this war against nuisance streamers right now, and that this topic is trending. And the longer I can get this to the attention of everybody, the better. And hopefully, it gets to the attention of lawmakers via social media, because of course, as we see in the Philippines and as can happen in other countries, when people put pressure on their lawmakers, politicians, law enforcement, things happen. Things are happening in the Philippines because of it. Things are happening in Korea. Hopefully, we're going to talk about Japan and putting more pressure there in Japan. Also, other countries as well. I think this is a good thing, and I think arresting these people and locking them up is actually the way to go to enforce this. We tried to play nice. We tried to do this a nice way. That's not working. It's law and order time. It's law and order time. So good to see everybody here. Shout out. Also, Alpha Omega dropping the 5 Legal Mindset memberships. A little bit of a warm up here. Thank you so much. Yes. Packy for 50 Philippine pesos. I mean, that's not even going to give Vitaly one day's food. But thank you so much. Appreciate that. Enjoying your live stream. Keep it up. I will. Forgotten lectures for €5. High and micro PP. Sounds like another lawyer who loves to get scuffed on stream. Today we started with no scuff, and actually early. I was 30 seconds early. So everybody who voted later scuff, you're all banned from the chat. No longer allowed to be here. So 50% of the chat, please leave now. On the way out, hit the like button. But make sure you leave the chat now. You're banned, all of you. But good to see everybody here as well. Seems a little choppy. Hopefully my connection is all right. It should be all right. It's not raining or anything here, so hopefully everything is nice and smooth. Dropping frames. All right. You know what I'll try to do? Let's do this. Let's go down. I know it's gonna hate. You guys are gonna hate it, but let's go down to 720p. Let's see if that helps. We're gonna. I mean, we have a micro PowerPoint today, the micro PP. So let's drop the frames a little bit. Okay, Robert Von Beek. What's up, Robert? Good to see you as well. Seem fine in the US. Yeah, might be somebody else. We'll try to drop it a little bit. Maybe that'll help. 2,000 people in the chat. JP Ravenfire, one of my base bros and the a great moderator. Thank you so much, JP, for the 5. Thank you. And of course, Robert Von Beek becoming a new member. Thank you. Wes Overracker says for 2, Vitaly is going to be denied vital nutrients. You know, I was watching a video on CCOT in El Salvador, their kind of mega prison. And what was really fascinating to me about CCOT is they do not give them any protein. They give them no gains. They don't get meat. They don't get fish. They don't get anything. They get a tortilla, they get rice, and they get corn. And that's it. And it's the same meal every single day. It's kind of based, honestly. And once again, these are extreme criminals that are in CCOT over there in El Salvador. These are the hardest of the hardest. These are people that, you know, if they're part of MS-13, may have had to, you know, end a family member to join the gangs. These are really hardened criminals. Really not a lot of sympathy for those folks that are wrapped up in there. But yeah, no, I think it's the Law and Order is kind of the theme that's going on right now, and I'm here for it. Angela Daly as a new member. Welcome. Also, hello to everybody wherever you are in the world as you come in. Just make sure you smash the like button. I'm lagging. Oh man, what am I running here? I don't know what I'm running, but whatever it is, we're gonna try to get to the bottom of it. Okay, let's see if there's any tabs I can close here. I'll close that one tab, but we'll see if that makes it any better. Legal lag set. I think it's fine. Well, we're going to roll with it anyways, guys. Close the 23 OnlyFans tabs. That's on you. All right. So let's get to the memes first. We'll start with a little bit of a laugh. You guys did some good ones last time. As I've always said, if you post them below the link on X, I will try to get to them. So this is from yesterday. I'm kind of going over some ones I didn't have a chance to review yesterday on the Vitaly stream. This was a good one here on the nuisance streamer toy series, the Cabbage Couple. Love is cabbages. Because you got Hank and Johnny holding hands there with some lovely cabbages. That is just beautiful, guys. That is just beautiful. H is in the chat for the Hank and Ramsey love. That is just absolutely adorable, guys. Also down here, we got some good ones. I'm going to show this video later on the Philippine jails. Don't you worry. We're going to talk about that. But a lot of people posting conditions of the Philippine jails. We're going to talk about this. I'm going to show some videos. The facilities that Vitaly could be in. It is crazy. Vitaly after the next heat wave. Vitaly, Philippine prison. I'm tired of this career. And of course, last Philippine summer be like. Good ones, guys. Good ones. Very good. Thank you for all those memes underneath there. Like I said, drop them under the link to the show, and we'll try to get those. We'll try to get those out there. If you've got some good ones, I'm happy to show them. So let's start with, and I've got once again, I've got my little micro PP here today. Let's start with some updates on Somali, because I want to get this up there clear, because I think a lot of people are still not like they didn't catch up with the fact that the trial was delayed. So I want to talk about that, and also talk about the fact that it may be delayed longer. And I was talking with Two people, one of them gave me a single comment on this, the other one gave me some other thoughts, but we have a delay from April 9th to March 16th. So obviously we're in the same courthouse for Somali's trial, which is the Western District Courthouse, from the same courtroom, which is 406, same judge, same prosecutor, which, by the way, the prosecutor in the Western District is not Zhang Aryang. It is in fact a different prosecutor. However, Zhang Aryang was in the Eastern District. She's the one that brought a lot of these sexual related crimes, the deepfakes, the CSH. And I need to be very careful on what I say with that because we're still early in the stream. So even talking about that dark subject will get us in trouble with the algorithm. So we'll just say CSH. If you don't know what that stands for, you can look at my other streams and kind of figure that out. And of course, the obstruction of business case, which is coming from Lotte World. So some people have said to me that Ramsey's case, while it's currently delayed to May 16th, could plausibly be bounced once again. And I warned you guys that this process could take a year. It could take 2 years. That is entirely possible depending on how they play it. And also the court, they can slowball this. They can bring in witnesses, even just for sentencing. So they can push this thing out very slowly. They have no impetus, no reason to speed this up and get him out of there or get the ruling quick. They can just keep him. And that's totally fine. He's getting his due process. So people have actually been mentioning to me that he may get this may get pushed even further. So we could see this May 16th date even move to June or July or even further. And there's a couple reasons for that. And there's more than this, but these are ones that kind of stand out and I wanted to talk about here today with you guys. The first is that there is additional evidence being submitted on the new charges. I mean, there's additional evidence that we have submitted that the Somali conviction team has submitted, which, by the way, the link to support the Somali conviction team is pinned in the chat. And thank you guys for generously supporting the team. There's a lot of translation, putting together evidence, getting USB stuff, clipping, everything. So do appreciate you guys supporting the SCT. It really is amazing, and it really helps out with everything that we're doing as part of this broader team. But obviously there's plans to submit more evidence regarding the new charges, right? Lotte World, the CSH, you guys know what that means, as well as the deepfakes, right? And there is video literally of Ramsey Khalid Ismail, Johnny Somali, saying he is purely trying to silence the female victim. Of course, the female Korean streamer, they are trying to silence her. And beyond that, the other thing is he positioned himself as her boyfriend. He said, "This is my girlfriend. Look, this is my girlfriend." So he didn't just position himself and show a random deepfake. He actually made a false statement. Yeah, this is a person I'm dating. I'm in a romantic or sexual relationship with this woman, and put that out there for the world to see. And like I said, that would be very embarrassing. That would cause people to be embarrassed, ashamed. That would cause a reaction from the audience, which is how that is judged. When you look at the deepfakes, the law turns on people's reaction to it. And the reaction is not good. The reaction of any woman. Once again, this isn't just about Johnny Somali. This is about broader in Korea. There's a big problem with deepfakes being made of people and then people saying, "Hey, this is my girlfriend. This is my wife. This is my mistress. This is whatever," right? Or look, I'm hooking up with this girl. The danger is if you allow these deepfakes to propagate, people are going to continue to do it. Copycats will happen. And if you don't cut it out at the root, it does propagate. So I think that despite the fact that some people think this is harsh, I think this is absolutely necessary to prevent people from going down this road, because once you start down that deepfake road, it really doesn't stop. And we have cases like the Nth Room, et cetera, where people create further and further stuff that is sexual in nature, that is more adult in nature, even than what Johnny Somali showed, although under Korean law, kissing is a sexual act, right? But that's going to lead to more and more propagation of this if it's not cut out in the bud, if it's not nipped in the bud. And I don't have a problem with that jurisprudence. I don't have a problem with that law. In fact, I'm happy if that deepfake law comes to other jurisdictions. I think that would actually stop that. We're going to have to come up with laws to handle that sort of stuff. And I think harsh laws are merited in these circumstances. Absolutely. Absolutely. So I think with the additional evidence that comes in, they're going to be struggling to, number one, go through that evidence, because the defense attorneys are going to have to go through that evidence. And then the number two is that we're going to have a panic from the defense. That kind of goes into number two here, a panic on the defense and representation issues. So here's what's happening is they're having to decide, how are we going to defend against this? What's our story? What's our angle? Right. And also, here's the very complicated thing. This public defender is totally blindsided. The Western District public defender is blindsided by this because he had no idea. He wasn't covering this. He wasn't in the Eastern District. This was supposed to have been nipped in the bud and stopped before indictment by the Eastern District, quote unquote, paid lawyer, but that lawyer failed. That lawyer failed to stop that indictment from going through. And as I've said, once something is officially indicted, once it's on the court record, it's really not coming off. We don't have much history talking to people or experience with a indictment coming off and being removed or dropped. Now, a prosecutor can choose to recommend a lighter sentence, even if there was a lot of cooperation, if the person was friendly, if they were apologetic. But this is not that scenario. This is Johnny Somali. He has been unapologetic. He has been unashamed. He says, I don't care. And he says, I'm going to bring this B word down. That's what he said about the female victim. He called her the B word. I'm trying not to swear. The swear jar is pretty full, guys. The swear jar is pretty full. But he says he's going to bring her down. And that is absolutely an aggravating factor under Korean law. And I think they're going to have to consider that. And the public defender has no idea on the strategy on how to do this. They haven't had that little romantic defense meeting that they had with the paid lawyer. In fact, I'm not even sure the public defender is going to give them the time of day. Because remember, there's a difference between a paid lawyer and a public defender. A public defender does not have to give you unlimited time. A public defender does not have to review your stuff all day. They have to give you a certain amount of consideration, and that's it. They don't have to sit with you for hours and hours. They don't have to pour over this in an unlimited fashion. They have multiple clients they have to handle, and you're just one of them. And one of the issues is I don't think Johnny has enough money to pay this attorney from the Eastern District to represent him in the West and spend all that time in court and all that time catching up. I think there's monetary issues, and that's going to become a huge mess. So I can see them saying, hey, look, we're going to have to sort this out. And that's going to take more than a month to sort out that issue. And I think the lawyers themselves may recommend to delay it yet again. So we're going to see as we get closer to May. I expect a couple days before we might even get a delay again. But once again, I'm telling you what's on the court records as of tonight. It is May 16th. That's the next day. Once again, I know a lot of people were asking, well, what about April 9th? No, that was completely moved. That date was completely moved. And then last, this is the most interesting one to me. Whose birthday is it? Wait, hold on. Who said happy birthday? Whose birthday is it? Whose birthday? Someone said happy birthday. Well, happy birthday to whoever's birthday it is. Hold on. Did someone tell me whose birthday? Hold on. Is this a chat? Is this a chat? Happy birthday to whoever's birthday it is. I know there were a couple people. I think there's one or two people that had a birthday today, but happy birthday, whoever's birthday it is. Whoever's birthday it is. See some in chat. Oh, J1K. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. I'm not going to pop out of a cake for you, but, maybe you can call Hank. Happy birthday, guys. Also, Merry Christmas. Yes, advanced Merry Christmas to everybody. And a Happy New Year. Also, Songkran is actually the New Year here in Thailand. I didn't know. I kept calling it the Water Festival, but someone actually corrected me, and it was like, actually, Songkran, the Thai holiday, is the New Year. I'm like, oh, really? I just associated with Water Festival. So there you go. I learned something about Thailand this week. Happy Hanukkah. Happy Hanukkah. Not to Johnny, though, because he is not Jewish. He is not Jewish. All right. Happy insanity plea. You're banned. Okay. So I think one of the other things is decision to challenge. And I can see a realistic scenario where Johnny Somali pleads guilty to everything but the deep fakes and possibly the CSH charge. Obviously, he's going to want to try to fight that if it comes down. I think that's pretty reasonable. So if the CSH comes in as a separate charge, not included as part of obstruction, but a separate actual charge, I think that is something he may try to plead not guilty to. And the deepfakes, I think in a very reasonable scenario, he may try to fight that. He did say he was going to fight that. Now, I don't believe much that comes out of Ramsey Khalid Ismail's mouth, but if he decides to plead not guilty, we're in for a longer trial. So if he wants to try to fight that specific charge and just go for the obstruction, we can do that. Then we're talking about another year, right? Then we're pushing this into 2026 very reasonably, which would be fun. So Ramsey is in a kind of a catch-22. He can plead guilty to the deepfake and hope that he's been nice and cooperative and lovely and said beautiful things about the court, so they sentence him lightly, or he can plead not guilty and try to fight it and be here for another year. So it decides, which do you want? Which do you want, Ramsey? Do you want to be here for another year fighting this case, or do you want to plead guilty and hope that you've been a good boy? We will see about that. Let's see here. I'm going to get these chats in the kind of order, biggest to smallest. Also, thank you guys for the support. Appreciate all of you. Also, smash a like button on the way in. Asian Dragon 456 for $19.99 says, I remember when Johnny Somali did say live that the other live streamer and female are best buddies or a close relationship with as a scapegoat so he can so people can stay away from Johnny. Also, here's for the swear jar. Thank you. Hell yeah. So he is not friends with her, the female victim. He in fact cursed her out. She is not settling with him, has not settled with him. So that all that is BS. And we know that from the leaks that I talked about the other day. A Super Korean dropped 10 legal mindset memberships. Okay. Let's give a little emotional cabbage here.
Emotional cabbage.
Thank you for that. Super Korean, deeply appreciate that. Super Korean also said for 12, say Ramsey, heard you like him young. Mr. Mossberg says you better not come back to AZ. Well, of course, I support legal solutions, but I do know that the other day he was on with streamers in the U.S. that directly threatened him and said, look, when you come back to the U.S., people are waiting for you. There's a community of people waiting for you. So, that was just objective reporting on what was said. There was a bunch of people that were saying, no, they're coming when you come back. So that is something that happened. Frugal Space says, how would you rank RKI, Hanky Boo, and Vitaly by level of stupidity? Hank is pretty up there. Hank and Vitaly are like tied, and then RKI is underneath that. And I say that because RKI, he's not an idiot in terms of like mental capacity. He has it. Hanky Poo and Vitaly seem to be lacking something upstairs, not enough to get off on any crimes, but enough to, say there's something that's missing. There's like a brain cell or a chromosome missing. But RKI, he thinks he's smart, which is why he gets in such deep trouble, because he keeps streaming himself constantly and he won't stop. And I guarantee you, by the way, we're going to get some other stream in the next month or 2 months. We're going to get another stream from RKI. He's not going to stop. In fact, I hear he's still trying to, get his social media back, still trying to get his YouTube back, still trying to stream. So I guarantee you we're going to see something else from RKI on some platform. Madoka Tokisaki says, I'm happy to see examples being made. It's the best possible ending. I know. We live in the best timeline, don't we? I worry if there hadn't been arrested, they'd be facing vigilante justice instead. I assume you're talking about Vitaly. And I think that the way that Philippine netizens were looking at it, there might have been consequences, because the reaction on that, I mean, you guys saw it on my channel, my coverage of Vitaly even passes my coverage of Somali in terms of live viewers, in terms of people actively contributing, in terms of emails. It's really crazy. Even though I've been covering Somali longer, even though I'm like the principal source on that, it's something that people were really passionate about. And in those situations, sometimes people take things in their own hands. Agent Dragon says 456 is Mom and Trill are here. Hey, shout out to Mom and Trill. Great content creators, great channel. Go check them out. Big love for that duo. And Mom and Trill, I know I've been delayed responding to your email, but I'm gonna get back to you. Don't worry. I'm super busy, but I'm gonna get back to you. I love y'all. Ron Penn. MK726 or 50 says Vitaly in his daily serving of rice porridge. Proxy for $10 says, back when RKI was running around in his underwear, I almost thought he was going to become like South Park version of Mel Gibson. I can see that. I can definitely see that. Jordan Keoth for 10 says, if thou feel thy can freely fa, then thou shalt fo in greater magnitude. Book of based mindset. Very good. In fact, I feel like I should just say the word. We've had some contributions to the swear jar, so let's just say it. If thou feel thy can freely fuck around, then thou shalt find out in greater magnitude the book of based mindset. I love it. I love it.
Look.
Oh, wait, no, hold on. Wrong clip. I got to click on this.
I'm not sorry, and I did nothing wrong.
Very based. Thank you, guys. All right. Let's see here. Sir Guard Pebble of the Nettle Soup says for 10 pounds, is there a limit on the amount RKI can request delays? As to me, it doesn't make sense to delay. Just saying guilt or innocent would be better to delay the evidence. His lawyer requested it. So it's not clear whether he, really wanted this or his lawyer talked him into it. But technically, there is no limit to delay. There's no hard limit. The judge thinks about it this way. You can't leave the country. You've got to pay for yourself. If he wants to delay this for 5 years, go ahead. You're stuck in Korea. He can't work. He can't do anything. He's staying with Hanky Poo. How is delaying helping him? Explain to me how delaying helps Ramsey financially, economically, etc. He's in more and more trouble by delaying. Delaying is not a benefit to him. Sitstar Luchai for 200 rounds. The high bot. Song Roy, thank you so much. Kopun Cup. Man, I'm late. Hey, no, you're not late. And also, I was trying that gin yesterday. Very good. Very good. Thank you for that. Gary Lee for 499 says, sometimes corruption is a good thing. Teach these disrespectful streamers a lesson. Also, hi from NYC. Again, boo, Han Jung Yu. Hanky Poo Poo. Oh, poor Hanky Poo. Poor Hanky Poo. I will say this, though, Gary. I don't think any of the punishment is a result of corruption. So I don't think that the punishment in Korea or Philippines or anywhere else is a result of corruption. In fact, I think that's a equal application of the law. I think if you violate the law in another country, you should be held to that country's standard. I do not think you should get special treatment because you're American or Western or whatever else. In fact, the people that are implying that, first of all, that's one of the most, I consider it maybe not racist, but more like nationalist, nationalistic or biased things to say, because you're American or European or wherever else, you should be exempt. You're from a first world country. You should be exempt from, other law, even though that wouldn't really apply to South Korea. South Korea, has a very advanced country. They're up there. Many South Koreans are far more wealthy than, others. Even many Americans aren't up there with some South Koreans. So there's very wealthy South Koreans. I don't think anybody gets special treatment, and I don't believe in that at all in any sense. So I don't think Americans are out there. Now, we're going to read when we talk about the island and that violation by the American there. The embassy made a comment, and I'm going to talk about that. They said, we're monitoring the situation, but the embassy isn't going to do jack, and I'm going to tell you exactly why. The embassies, first of all, don't do jack in 99.9% of circumstances. And in the rare Brittany Griner circumstance, there's so much political pressure, et cetera, on that. And it's been something that is for a relatively minor or what's perceived as a political crime. These aren't political crimes. These aren't things that were people bringing up issues that were necessarily political. So I don't think this is going to be a situation where they get bailed out by any sort of political saving. Walking Corpse for 5 Legal Mindset memberships. Thank you so much. Sitatar Luchai for another 5. Thank you for the 5. Thank you, Copeland Cop. And Peter Park for the 20 Legal Mindset memberships. Oh, we're going to have to get some emotional damage. Volume warning on emotional damage. Here we go.
Emotional damage.
Big emotional damage for people out there as we already break the 50 mark. I think here we're at 52. Thank you guys for new members. Appreciate that. More members than Johnny's active viewers. Infamous for 5 says, do you think Johnny and Vitaly go to prison for a while, or do you think people will finally realize you shouldn't FAFO? I think Vitaly is a damn good start. I think Vitaly, that's the swear jar. I think Vitaly is a good start. I think Johnny is very important, especially for Korea and Japan. And I say that for Korea and Japan because the perception of those two countries as very lenient, I think that changes things. I also think Japan will follow after. And we're going to talk about Japan today, whether or not Japan is IRL streaming is dead in Japan. We're going to talk about that because there's a debate about that right now. And I've got some thoughts. But I think Johnny will help a lot. If Johnny gets jail time, it will help a lot. If Johnny gets with a slap on the wrist or a minor fine, I think that would be the most damaging thing ever for Asia and for really the world in terms of nuisance streaming. I think that would be very, very damaging if he got 0 jail time. Daniel Looney says, love the passive-aggressive response to South Korea. It's great. It's great. Larry Powers says, cook Vitaly, take one, nuisance streamer, and bake at 97 degrees Fahrenheit for 25 years until done. Serves 10. I think, once again, I know a lot of other streamers put up the 27 years or whatever. First of all, that number is completely made up. It could be up to 40 years. I saw somebody coming up with a guess, right? For it could be up to 40 years, it could be 10, it could be 5. So it's really speculative. There is a mandatory minimum of 5 for certain charges. So I'd rather start on the conservative end, the low end. And so my estimate was, hey, if he serves 7 to 8 years, 2 years waiting for trial, 5 years for at least one charge as the mandatory minimum, I'm happy with that. I think that's great. Blooming Days. For 5 says, morning from California. My friend is finally here to watch a stream. My mom, oh, hey, mom. Hey, mama Blooming. To hear the facts of the prison Vitaly will get in. Got my coffee. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. Don't worry. We're going to show some prison stuff. It's fun. C-Chan for Singapore 698 says, hope Ramsey has a trial on the 7th or 4th of July. Would be a nice birthday present for my birthday on the 6th of July. Oh, well, happy advanced birthday. And that would be great. My birthday is in August, so hopefully there's a hearing around then. That'd be fun. Thomas Smith for 5 says, so what would happen to RKI if the hot war with China and North Korea? That's not happening, but that's wildly speculative. I mean, and it wouldn't have anything to do with South Korea if North Korea and China were fighting. And by the way, North Korea would lose that very quickly to China. So China supplies their food subsidies. They would just stop giving them food and then they would just starve. So yeah, no, China would win against North Korea every day. Michael Rua says, just got home from work. It's one of those days, ain't it? Yeah, it is one of those days. Einhenda for 13 says, so you're saying Somali, get out Somali. Indeed. Twin Tail Enthusiast says, woo, more pain to Hank's wallet. Exactly. It's all Hank. And once again, Hank is being kind of cut off a little bit. Gary Lee for 109. My Korean mom says, disrespect us, you will learn. Damn right. Shout out to the Korean moms. Annyeonghaseyo. To the Korean moms. The Korean moms are the best. They're the best. And very hospitable. And yeah, I've always enjoyed. Had a good time at a lot of Chuseok, and just everybody being really hospitable there and great food. Just great time. Love Korea. C-Chan, SGD for 698 says, Vitaly and Ramsey messing with Koreans and Filipinos, two of the most nationalistic races in Asia with a huge American diaspora. What is wrong with them? I know they didn't realize that this is going to go global because of those the diaspora. There's Korean Americans, there's Korean Canadians, there's Koreans over here in Southeast Asia, there's Koreans everywhere. He really made a mistake on that. Sobi for 9.90 Malaysian ringgit says, I'm late. Please accept this Somology. By the way, I guess somebody else patented the word Somology, but I do like that. The fake apology as a Somology. I do like that. Jordan Kilth for 5 Legal Mindset memberships. Thank you so much. And Neil says, keep up the good work. Thank you for coming. This my pleasure. Madoko Takisaki for 10 says, these nuisance streamers have demonstrated that the best way to bring humanity together is to give them a common foe. It's magical. That's right. We'll get 3 more and we'll go. Jerry Ramey for 10 says, RKI's stupidity amazes me. The natural predilection is to reach new phantoms of a-hole. Yet he can't stream or get attention. RKI is a never-ending self-inflicted cycle. Exactly. Cam Meat says, the very fun news is that it's been further delayed. The defense is looking to challenge. Good luck, I guess. They do know it's all recorded and widely shared, don't they? Uphill battle. I don't think so. I don't think the public defender knows how widely this is being streamed and how widely this is on the internet. I know he knows that Somali is a internet figure. He does know that. But I don't think he realizes how much coverage this is getting, or else maybe he might do a little bit extra. But I think he doesn't even know how big this thing is. Virgos says 6 months of well-spent support. Have fun, RKI. Yeah, thank you for remembering for 6 months. And Johnny's coping because of that. Also, RTG for 2 says, Mexican here to say Ramsey is lucky to be alive. And pretty intense. Overcracker said, Ramsey made a short where he did pull-ups on a Sakura. I showed that last stream. Yes, he did. He's just trying to make fun of Miskiff. He doesn't like Miskiff, so he was trying to go after him and kind of get him in trouble. That's kind of RKI's thing. He tries to get everybody in trouble because he can't have any fun. All right, so let me go over to our next topic. That's what we got for Somali today, but we're going to have some Vitaly, and that's the last part of my PP, the last part of my PowerPoint. But before we do that, I will get this one. This is a good one from Allison about Somali before we move on. Do you have any idea how many crimes are in stage 1 or 2 of the PowerPoint? Are there others? I don't think there's many. I actually think all of them are with the prosecutor or they're at court. So at this point, I think most all of the crimes are either with the prosecutor at court. And to be honest, think about everything we have. We have at least two, if not three, obstruction cases. We've got deep fakes. We've got Minor Crimes Act. We got two of those at least. We've got deep fakes. We've got CSH. I cannot say it, but you guys know what it is. CSH, which is intense. That's enough. That's enough, guys. We don't really need more than that to convict him for a good period of time. And once again, they only move forward with charges they know they can convict on. That's the thing about Korea. They don't bring stuff they can't prove. That's why they have a 98% conviction rate, is because they bring stuff to court when they know they can nail them and make them guilty. So we've already got a lot. We've got plenty. Yeah, CHS doing the Diddy. Yeah, it's pretty much. So that was a good question, Allison. Thank you for that. Thank you for that super chat. That's a very good question. Thomas said, I didn't mean North Korea and China. I meant China, North Korea, and the ROK. I don't think that's going to happen, but that's really speculative. And I think a war wouldn't make things better for Somali. They certainly wouldn't release him. It would probably delay things. Also, Axie said for 5, just realized I spend more buying drinks before work than Vitaly will have for meals daily. Well, you'll love to see it. Keep it up, dude. Love the coverage. My pleasure. I ain't planning to stop. Okay, let's get into this island thing, shall we? This is why I have an India flag in my PowerPoint, because this is all India. This was my thumbnail. This is North Sentinel Island. Beautiful island, actually. This is one of the few places in the world where there is an uncontacted tribe that is at the kind of Neolithic level. They're absolutely there's absolutely at the level of like Bronze Age here, something like that, and they're undeveloped. And every person who's come to this island to visit them has been repelled by force. So this uncontacted tribe will like shoot arrows at people. And this has gone back in the day when the British landed there in the 1890s or 1880s, something like that. They were firing at them, shooting arrows at them, the Dutch, etc. There was a National Geographic group that went to film them, and they actually got repelled as well by violence. When other tribes people come here, they're attacked. So they don't really care who you are, what color you are, whatever. They attack all outsiders. And there was a missionary that came here, and he was actually killed. So what happened was there was a nuisance streamer, an American YouTuber by the name of Mikhail Viktorovich Polyakov of Scottsdale. I don't know his exact YouTube channel, but he was a YouTuber and he was doing this for the content, right? So this was 100% a person who was attempting to nuisance stream. By the way, what is with Arizona and creating nuisance streamers, right? Because I believe Somali is also from Arizona as well, or has some of his business there, etc. Like, why is Arizona creating nuisance streamers? Anyways, he tried to visit this island, leaving a Diet Coke and a coconut in an attempt to make contact with this tribe. He was arrested 2 days after he set foot on the island, which is part of India's Andaman and Nicobar Islands. And let me show you guys where this island is. It's actually really close to me here in Thailand. It's actually closer to Thailand than it is to India itself. Let me pull up the little map here. It is like in the Andaman Sea, which is just west of Thailand. If you've ever been to Phuket, you can kind of look out in that direction. That's the sea you're kind of facing. So let me pull this up here so you guys get a little geography. I like maps. I'm kind of maptistic that way. So you can see here. Here's me. Here's over here. I'm hanging out in Bangkok, and then you've got over here the Andaman Sea. So you got Phuket right here, over here. And then you've got the Andaman Sea. This is actually owned by India. So India actually owns these islands. And that goes back to the time in which, in case you guys don't know, little history lesson, there was India, kind of had a mandate over all these territories. There was Pakistan and Bangladesh were all part of it. And then they broke away. Pakistan broke away, and Bangladesh was considered like East Pakistan. But then there was a war, and then India kind of intervened, and they kind of took control of that stuff. So they've got sovereignty here. North Sentinel Island is the one that you cannot go to, and you can see the tribesmen there in the photo. You are not supposed to go there at all ever. You can visit some of these other islands. So you can visit like South Andaman and some of these other islands you can visit. You see there's a road here. So you can come here. So what he did was he went to this big island and he bribed a fisherman to come close, right, to that island. And that's a big no-no. And it's got a 5-star rating. I did just notice that. I just noticed someone gave it a 5-star rating. That is actually hilarious. So you are not supposed to go there. So what did they do to this nuisance streamer? Well, they punished him. They sentenced him to 14 days in judicial custody, and he will appear before the court April 17th. I wish I could attend the hearing on the islands. That would be hilarious. I mean, it honestly would only be like a 2-hour or like maybe a 4-hour flight because I'd probably have to make a connection, but that would actually be hilarious. And if I could see this guy's final trial, that'd be real cool. But anyways, the charges carry a sentence of up to 5 years in prison and a fine. So I am all for giving these guys 5 years. Sounds great. Give them 6 months, give them a year at least. I am all for that because people need to know that, look, if these things are illegal, if you're told, hey, you cannot go there, you're not supposed to, mess with this, you should not go there. You should not mess with it. You should not make content out of it. It says right here, inhabitants use spears, bows, and arrows to hunt animals that roam on the small, heavily forested island. Deeply suspicious of outsiders, they attack anyone who lands on their beaches. Now, this is the part I wanted to comment on. And this is the part that I want to give a little caveat to. So people inform the State Department, and the State Department says, the department has no higher priority than the safety and security of U.S. citizens abroad, a State Department spokesman said. We are aware of reports of the detention of a U.S. citizen in India. We take our commitment to assist U.S. citizens abroad seriously and are monitoring the situation. This is not a comment that they're going to get him out of jail for free. This just says, hey, we're looking at it. We know about it, but we're monitoring it. Does not mean they're going to save the guy. In fact, they probably, if anything, just gave him a list of local lawyers. That's what I've said they always do. They'll give you a list of local lawyers, and that's about it. They are not there to bail you out of jail. They're not to get out of jail free card. They're not going to bargain for you. They're not going to make a deal with India to return some Indian gangster for some YouTuber. That's not going to happen. They had to make the statement because they were asked a question, but that is a nothing burger statement, right? Of course, they have to say they have priority for U.S. citizens. Of course, they're going to say that, right? That's like a corporate statement that means nothing. Like, oh, we support all people, right? A corporate statement means nothing, right? Same thing with this. We support U.S. citizens. Yeah, of course you do. Right? But how do you do that? You don't do it by getting them out of jail for free. So he is not going to get any rescue. I would not count on that at all. Mill says, your coverage of these moronic streamers is not only entertaining, but educational with illegal information. Sitting left and hey, shout out to New Zealand. I haven't been to New Zealand. I need to visit. I should perhaps bring my friend Josh, who's at least part Kiwi, to do a tour down there. But much love down there to my Kiwis. And I am committed to covering nuisance streamers because I think they need to be rid of Asia. They need to be out of here. So I am very much committed to this on a personal and strategic level. Also, Tuzret, as a member, says, off topic, wondering if your apartment is okay. It's kind of not. My air conditioning unit in my bedroom looks like it's going to fall down. It has cracks all around it. They've assured me it's not going to, but my level of believing them is like believing Ramsey when he's going to go home in 3 days. Now, it should be fixed in the next month or so. Obviously, repairs are something that is behind here in Bangkok. Everyone needs their stuff repaired. But we'll see if everything gets fixed, hopefully quickly. Luckily, my lease is up, so it's a little bit of a leverage where I can say, hey, if you don't fix it, I'm just going to leave. So we're doing that right now, but I'm okay. I mean, the AC's working, everything's good. It's like structurally safe. A lot of cosmetic stuff needs to be fixed, though. Y'all want to crowdfund a Merc unit? Easy private island. KS for 10 says the reason the Sentinelese hate outsiders is because of Maurice Padal Portman, who kidnapped and essayed the men and boys of the tribe. He was a British officer in the 1890s. Wow, is that serious? I did not know that. Well, that would be a reason to do that, a serious reason to do that. REQU 97 for €5 says embassy help is 99.5% of the time only. Here's a list of local lawyers who help. Go figure it out yourself. Yeah, that's it from not just the US, but many embassies. There's very few that will actually come and do anything beyond that. Mango Taipei for 75 new Taiwanese dollars says, have you seen Ludwig and Michael's tip to tip? I think it's a great example of what to do in visiting other countries. Would be fun to watch stream. Yeah, and I think this was suggested before. I may try to do that for like a member stream or something more casual. That's a little bit more private, and we just chill and watch it, for a while. That's fun. That sounds like some fun content. So let me review it first, and if it's good and kosher, we'll watch it. Watch a little bit of it. That's fine. Thanks for the recommendation. Fat Factor for 5 says, considering how a certain gang lives engaging in vigilantism in India, e.g. Lauren Bishnoi going after Salman Khan, this guy got off lucky. Yeah, there's some harsh consequences that can be had messing around in a lot of parts of the world. We'll just say that. And there's people that do not escape with their lives. In fact, on this very island, the missionary didn't escape with his life. Michael Rulis says, what's the appeal of being a news streamer? Money and clout. Money and clout. People want negative attention. In fact, there is a Japanese nuisance streamer, and I'm not going to say his name, but we're going to show a little clip of it today, that's actually trying to become like Somali Part 2. He's actually going around, from what I understand, he is spreading STDs, and he is trying to like do anything extreme to get attention. And these people are in a sub mindset of doing whatever they can do to get attention. And I'm not being hyperbolic. That's not hyperbole. That was not hyperbole. And I don't even want to give them attention and clout, because by me mentioning them, it gives them more attention than they're merited. What I try to focus on is when they've committed a crime, to punish them. Because if you focus on them just for being annoying, you're actually doing what they want. But when you focus on them when there's a crime, that's when you should hit them, because they can get arrested. And that's when I cover them. So I have a very specific strategy. So some of you, when you send me videos of nuisance streamers, I don't cover it, because it's not at the point where the law enforcement is going to take action. And I don't want to give them free publicity, free money, because that's what they want. What I want to do is put them in jail. I want to put them in jail. So my focus is putting these people behind bars. So I am very strategic on how I do this. And I know their strategy, and I go above their strategy to the point where, hey, let's take action and get these guys in jail. When there's a real shot, a real chance to put them in jail, I go for them. I go for the head. I go for headshots only. I'm not trying to kneecap these guys. I'm not trying to just make fun of them for drama, clout, or whatever else. I'm trying to put them in jail. Right? That's my prerogative. Other channels can do whatever they want with their channels. I don't control them, but that's my strategy, and straight up with all these guys. Like, no unabashed coverage is to get these guys to have legal consequences. Because frankly, I feel if there's not legal consequences, they're just going to keep doing it. And we're going to talk about that when we talk about Japan today. Yeah, boom, headshot. That's it. Headshots only, baby. Headshots only. Right? This is funny. Leaving your apartment, moving in with Hank as well. Hank can't afford me. Asian Dragon 456 for 1999 says the India sovereign island nuisance streamer reminds me of Ice Poseidon and his crew. They went to the DMZ at the same thing, thinking that the DMZ border is fun and making a documentary when North Korea retaliates. Yeah, see, here's the thing. It's all fun and games till someone steps on a landmine and dies. And especially with the North Korean border, you can get shot easily. And once again, you're asking for it. I have very little sympathy. If you go into a war zone and you are a victim of the war zone, you literally did that to yourself. What do you want me to say? Like, do you want me to feel bad for you? I'm not going to feel bad for you. If you're going to once again, North Korea is technically still at war with South Korea. I have no sympathy if you are going over there and messing with that. That's on you. That's on you. Super Korean says, it's fucking heat that cooks kids' brains out here in Arizona. I have to smack my nephews when they start exhibiting nuisance streamer behaviors. I think, are they just bored? Like the heat makes them go crazy? I don't know. Phoenix, what's up, brother? Missed the beginning. Here for the tea. Don't worry. We're still going to get into it. We still got Japan. We got Vitaly. We got a lot of stuff going on here. So stay tuned. We're only this is just the tip. We got more to come. Just the beginning. We still got some PP, my micro PP. We still got a little bit more. It's PowerPoint, by the way. Get your head out of the gutter. Donnie says, hear me out. Nuisance Streamer Island. I would do that if it was Battle Royale. Have you guys heard of Battle Royale? In the chat? Have you guys heard of Battle Royale? It's kind of the original Hunger Games, like Battle Royale. Great movie. I believe there's a manga as well. Great stuff. It's a book. Yeah. But yeah. You guys know, you guys are based. You guys know Battle Royale. Yeah. Okay. You guys are cultured. You guys are men and women of culture. Men and women of culture. Like, I'm okay with PUBG Nuisance Streamer Island, but it's got to be PUBG rules, right? Like, and the one that survives gets to be sent to the cabbages, right? All right. Holy Nick says Arizona isn't the problem. It's Scottsdale specifically. All the rich people and Nepo babies live there. Oh, the Nepo babies. That could be it. Somali is definitely a Nepo baby. Hold on, though. Speaking of Nepo baby, maybe Mindset's a Nepo baby because 50 legal Mindset memberships. Yeah, let's do it. Oh, man, that's so good. Let's see. Let's see what we've got for this one. Let's do this. Thank you guys on that one. Jerry Remy says for 5, this story made me glad I didn't have to travel abroad. I'd never be a nuisance streamer. I was raised right. Headshot, waste no time. Nope. You've got to take these guys down, and you've got to move to get the authorities to actually take action. If you're just complaining to complain, you're literally feeding the algorithm for them. Don't do it. Don't do it. Right? You need to take action and report them. You need to take action and push for a consequence. If you're just saying, oh man, these people suck, that's not enough. It needs to be, they suck, go to jail, straight to jail. Right? It should be Dead Man Wonderland. Good anime. Good anime. Thea says, giving you Vitaly's daily ration for the day. Oh, we're going to get to Vitaly just very soon. Kerbal says, BLM equal headshots. Johnny equals Hank's back shots. Oh
No, 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 no. Wait.
Phoenix says, furries, our head is always in the gutter. Gets us through the insanity of everyday life. I don't know anything about that, Phoenix. I don't know anything about that. User says, user Apple Lily 203 says, Hank led Somali to do all the things for money. Hank has been encouraging it. Without Hank, he would have not got anything done. Okay, anything done? Actually, for 5 says the tribe has lost more than a few members that were taken to the mainland for study and lost their lives to disease. Okay. If your members have been essayed by weird Brit sailors and they've been also kidnapped for study, maybe you'd be aggro. Yeah, I see that. Blooming Nature 5 says, I'll be visiting Japan in 3 days with my boyfriend and his sister. I'm hoping no one that is a new streamer interrupts and disturbs the peace in Japan again. We're going to talk about Japan literally next. So hang on for that. We've got debating opinions on Japan. Canned Meat says, knowingly spreading STDs isn't a crime, not from an assault or something. I'm sure it was deeply illegal. I think it is. The problem is enforcement, guys. The problem is enforcement. Somebody has to report it. Many people, when they contract it, don't know they contract it for months. Some people never get tested or never go in for that, so they might not know forever. So they've got to bring that charge themselves against those people. And then imagine it's a nuisance streamer who leaves after a week. So they go to Japan or somewhere else for 1 week. They do that intentionally, stream it, and leave. That's the problem with these nuisance streamers. That's why one of the solutions is to stop them at the border. When you see them coming, reject them. That is one of the solutions that needs to happen across the board. Actually gifted 5 Legal Mindset memberships. Thank you so much. And Nick S. says, we need a bounty hunter live stream where you go country to country as a prosecutor annihilating news streamers. I love it. I wish I could do that. Obviously, I'm only an American lawyer, but I love covering it and helping the prosecution. And to the extent I can do that in the Philippines, Korea, Japan, Thailand, anywhere else in Asia, I will do that. I will be there to help do that. Also, Kim Jello Latino for 70, the ration for the day, says, does Philippines have extensive cybercrime laws? Yes. Now, Secretary Romula said that he wanted to strengthen those. We're going to talk about Vitaly in a second, so we'll talk about the cybercrimes. All right, let's talk about Japan. So obviously, we had the problem of people going out and messing with the sakura trees in Japan. Oh, wait, hold on 1 second. Before I do that, Adam Gerville gave 10 pounds. Said more information on Maurice V. Portman. He had SR with the Andamanese, not the Sentinelese, but captured 6 Sentinelese, that's North Sentinel Island, 2 elders who died from disease, and the kids were returned. Oof. Yeah, still not good. Still not good. Still not good stuff. All right, so you guys saw nuisance streamers. Now it was Miskiff, Tokyo Sims, etc. Who did that. Now earlier I mentioned a certain nuisance streamer who's a problem, who's trying to gain clout. I'm not going to show his name here, but here's this same guy who's, by the way, look how many people he's streaming to. Look how many people he's streaming to. He's streaming to less people than half of, not even, than a third of the memberships. We have 112 memberships today. His whole audience is not a third of the memberships we received just today. So 35 losers are watching this. And by the way, he's probably view botting. So it's probably really like 5 of them, right? It's probably really 5 of them. And of course, this is Kick. Of course, this is Kick, right? So watch, of course, what he's doing here. So he's going to the exact same tree that Miskiff went to and whatever to try to get clout, to try to go back, to try to cause a problem. Like they're just trying to cause problems. And they're trying to get attention. They're trying to do these things in Japan. And this is why, once again, Japan does need to start tightening up. Now, some people are saying, well, Japan is already cooked for IRL. And they're basing that on the fact that, for example, the IP crew, the CX crew that was in Japan, effectively got run out of Japan. Now, Japan, this is very interesting. Japan did not legally kick them out. And as far as I know, Paul Danino and his crew were not kicked out of Japan legally. However, the amount of pressure that was put on them was enough to drive them out. People calling in, people reporting them, getting kicked off ferries, getting kicked out of hotels. That pressure was enough socially to force them out, but it wasn't the law that forced them out. And I think that is an important distinction. But other streamers are mentioning this. So we have Andy Milanakis, which is hilarious, who's also IRL streaming. Here's a comment from Mr. Milanakis over here, who said, Japan is ruined for IRL streaming. I'm glad I got to experience it early in 2017 and 2018 when IRL streaming was still new. But I don't think I ever want to go back there for streaming again. The block got hot. It's a mess. So what he's trying to kind of mention here is that right now there's a lot of heat on Japan, a lot of tension on Japan, so they got pushed out. So kind of mentioning, hey, IRL is dead. And by the way, I'm not saying Andy is the worst or best. I'm just saying he's commenting on this, right? He's making a general comment that right now it's not a hospitable environment in Japan, and I would agree with that. I think justifiably because of Johnny Somali, because of Gagan TV, who harassed the folks in Sapporo and got in the fight with the guys at the bar who beat his ass, because of DBR, who threw the snowball and was urinating in public, because of a lot of the other nuisance streamers that were doing insanely horrible things. There's a lot of pressure there and there's a lot of problems there, but it's not there yet legally. And there was a great post from Yoko, who's a Japanese woman. She's a streamer there and covers a lot of issues, Japanese issues. I like a lot of her posts. So she posts here a good post, a thoughtful post about this and kind of the predicament in Japan, which is a clip has been circulating in Japan of foreigners doing pull-ups on a cherry blossom tree. Watching it makes my heart ache. I scroll past it whenever it appears. The first person issued an apology. That was Miskiff. Also, Tokyo Sims issued an apology. But the fact remains that Japanese people would never think of doing such a thing. Fun fact, at least one of them, Tokyo Sims, is Japanese. So he should have known better. But anyways, the people who do these things had a very different sensibility to nature compared to Japanese people, which I find terrifying. Japan has a culture of coexisting with nature and the belief that everything has a soul. Additionally, Japanese people have long held the belief in the importance of respecting nature due to natural disasters our country has faced throughout history. For this reason, I find such actions deeply troubling and alarming in many ways. While there is an issue where there's an issue with the common sense of foreigners. As a Japanese person, I feel there are problems with Japanese politics. I feel that the politicians and business leaders in Japan who continue to welcome such people for financial gain must reconsider their stance. And I think this is what I want to talk about, because I think Japan is at a place where they are still thinking, okay, well, we need to be nice to these people because we need to make sure we need to make sure they come back. They need to make sure they give us money. They need to make sure they're helping our economy, because Japan's economy is hurting. It is not doing well, guys. I mean, I'm not going to try to beat around the bush here. Japan is hurting. When I go to Japan, the majority of Japanese young people want to leave Japan. I even have them I have helped Japanese people come to Thailand, right? So there are Japanese people that have fled Japan for Thailand. I'm not kidding you. I'm being serious, because the wages are flat there. And even though the wage that they would get working in Thailand is lower, they actually are better off here because the quality of living is higher for that amount of money. So they're willing to take a on paper pay cut because their life is cheaper here and they can live better. And they can do stuff like, I don't know, raise a family. It's actually something you can do. A lot of Japanese and Koreans come here and hire Thai housekeepers or Thai help to be able to raise a family. And that's actually something they can do. It's practical here, where they can never do that in their home country, right? So I do feel them there. I understand that. But what I want to say is stopping nuisance streamers is not going to hurt your economy. In fact, I believe that stopping nuisance streamers will help tourism. I think tourism will boom. If you are telling tourists that only good people can come here, I think they will grow. I think people now are afraid of nuisance streamers. Many of you in the chat, you ask me, like, what if I run into a nuisance streamer? Like, what do I do? Like, I'm afraid of this. I'm scared of this. I think that needs to go. I think, my message to Yoko and the politicians and everybody else would be that, they need to review their laws and get things straight. And she does admit this, right? By the way, she did a follow-up post. I'm going to read this real quick. Which says Japan, and this is actually probably in response to me posting about this, because I posted in response. Japan needs to review its legal system, including signage and penalties, and ensure clear communication of its culture, standards, and rules. Since Japan has a collectivist culture, it's valuable that both domestic and international people raise awareness on social media. This is what I try to do. See, and this is a Japanese person, right? Not me, saying that this is valuable. This is valuable, right? So that's, once again, it's coming from internal. They are appreciating that, as it can prompt major media outlets and politicians to take action. For example, the issue of tourists abusing and harassing the deer in Nara was highlighted on X, leading to the addition of such actions to prohibited behavior. I want to express my gratitude as a Japanese person to those who raise their voices in defense of common sense, which is what we try to do on this channel. There are two important points. First, Japanese politicians must take responsibility for policies on tourism and employment. Second, mutual respect for cultures during cross-border exchanges is essential. So it isn't a case where Japan can show respect and the other side cannot show respect. I think what Japan has fallen into the trap of is just being respectful, even though the other side is being disrespectful. And I think what they need to flip to is, they're respectful, but if the other side disrespects them, then they need to flip the samurai mode. They need to go full samurai, right? It needs to be complete 360, and they need to say, no, we're cutting this off at the bud. We're nipping this off at the bud. We're taking the head off of this, because frankly, without strict punishment on those people that are crossing the line, people aren't going to get into line. And that's the only way to deal with it. And I love my Japanese brothers and sisters. Once again, I go there very often. I would say my best expat friend outside of Thailand is there. My friend Josh in Japan. He's my longest expat friend at this point. I love that country. I go there a lot. I love it. I consider it like a third home almost. If Korea's my second home, Japan's my third for sure. It was the first country I was planning to go to. I actually wasn't going to go to Korea at first. I was going to go to Japan. Of course, my life changed because of COVID, and I'm glad for it. But I think the country will be better as a person who goes there often. Okay, let's get your comments, because I know you guys have some thoughts about this. First of all, John, welcome as a new member. Thank you. Thank you. Also, 787.86 became a new member. Thank you. Danny Skier gave a new member. Thank you as well. Phoenix says for 5, when the PP begins to burn, not talking about STDs, Get your head out of the gutter. Well, some nuisance streamers are spreading them. Robert von Beek for €6 says, nuisance streamer island, can we pick Kowtow, Snake Island or so? Then we'll have really good content. Have a great Songkran next week. Thank you so much. Actually, Kowtow is kind of nice, so it needs to be another one. Kowtow actually has some good stuff. We'll pick a more small and unhospitable island for him. Chris Walski said, in Australia, Oz, crikey. Says knowingly passing STIs to somebody else's SA. Yeah, in many countries it is. If you are knowingly inflicting it on someone else. Super Christian Me World said, can we get a yes, Jojo, yes, for Legal Mindset? Absolutely, you can.
Yes.
Michael Rua for $5.99 says the Japanese should respectfully throw the book at nuisance streamers. Yep. And once again, with all due respect to tourists, they need to stop the nuisance streamers. Anime lover Shihan for $2 says nuisance streamers are the same as 1A auditors. Agreed. Phoenix DS says for 20 Canadian, need a Squid Games nuisance streamer edition, a game where puzzles are increasingly difficult. Will they survive? That's the battle royale. Torik Rama said, hey Knox, Somali is 786% effed. When? Soon. Marvin for Vitaly's daily ration of 70 pesos. The Yakuza used to be a deterrent to these clowns. Agreed. Wayne M for Canadian 5 says, I moved to Thailand years ago. Hey, awesome. And stayed 9 years before departing. Lovely country, very affordable. I moved to Ireland with my wife and son. Awesome. Well, I hope you enjoy it. Yeah, Thailand is a lovely country. I deeply enjoy it here. Al Annie Anas for 25 Romania. It's a Snake Island in the Black Sea. Best place for him. Oh, yeah, there we go. Artemis 199 says they got to go full Pippa with a gun at Walmart. That's an inside joke. But Pippa did not actually bring a gun to Walmart. It's a joke. Yuri Lillian, member for 12 months, says Japanese fear of confrontation. I know, and that's what needs to be talked past. Is hey, we're confronting these people under these circumstances. If they've been warned, there's no mercy, right? Dr. Tetanus says the streamers fear the samurai. They should. All right, so let's get to Vitaly. So I'm going to talk about first some notes. We're going to finish the PowerPoint, and then we're going to show you some jail video. This is fun. Oh, the jail video is fun. The jail video is very fun. So first, let's cover some notes. There was a Filipino lawyer who wrote back some answers. You guys asked some questions in the chat, and he had some answers for you guys because many of you asked questions. So as a Filipino lawyer, he wanted to help me answer these. So I'm going to answer some questions that you guys had in PowerPoint format, of course, in classic Legal Mindset PowerPoint format. Okay, first of all, he wanted me to say, because many of you ask about caning, we have some caning stands in the chat. I think we got some Malaysians, some Singaporeans in the chat that are really based in cane pilled. But unfortunately, guys, there is no caning in the Philippines. But according to a Filipino lawyer, he said that he would rather be caned than go to a Filipino prison. He literally said, I would rather be caned than go to a Filipino prison. So that kind of tells you, and I'm going to show you the Filipino prisons. And if after what I showed you today, you would not prefer the caning, we'll do a poll in the chat. But I think the Filipino prison is pretty rough. We're going to talk about that. Also, review bombing. So apparently the big thing for the crime in convicting people for review bombing is it really matters if there were fake reviews posted. So if anybody actually posted a fake review as a result of Vitaly prompting them, then that would be a crime in the Philippines. So it really would turn on other reviews that were posted that were fake. Also, many people were talking about bangus, which is fried milkfish. Apparently, 70 pesos cannot even buy fried bangus, cannot even buy fried milkfish. So he's not even getting that sweet milkfish with 70 pesos. It is a very small amount. So that is going to be definitely hurting for him. Now, this is an interesting one because both Atozi and I want to attend the trials and the hearings. Oh, okay. Hold on. People are telling me how to pronounce this. Nagas? Bangas? No, Nagas? Banagas? I don't know. The sound, I may not be getting there because I know the sound is different. It's not bang bus, okay? Inappropriate. Bangos? Okay. Pandesal. It's not pandesal. I know pandesal. I love pandesal actually. Pandesal is delicious. Pandesal is delicious. Anyways, okay. Everybody's trying to help me out here. Bangus. Okay. Bangus. Okay, whatever. We're close enough. I'm trying here, guys. I'm trying. Clip it. Yes. Pandesal is bread. No, it's delicious bread. No, pandesal is delicious. Fresh pandesal is delicious. And it's also the reason why I gain weight when I'm going to the Philippines. Not going to lie. I eat pandesal every single day. In fact, Starbucks has a pandesal that's really good. Really good. They have a chorizo pandesal. I really like that thing. And Starbucks food is usually horrible around the world, but that is the one thing I will go and get. And it's delicious. But anyways, okay. So apparently, if we go to the trial, we may need special permission. I am trying to get into contact with people that could get me permission to go to the trial. So I am going to try to get permission to go. I think but based on what my conversation with a lawyer, he said you might need a special permit, and I will try to go. The other thing is, and this is the next bullet point, is that according to recent Philippine law, I have to be very, very, very neutral when I cover the trial. And that's because of law regarding impartiality of the court. So I have to be extremely neutral. So if I cover the proceedings, I have to just pretty much say, this is what happened. And I essentially will not be able to comment on what happened inside the court. I may be able to comment on what happened outside the court, but in terms of what happened inside the court, I will have to be super neutral, right? So I will not be able to give an opinion on like, oh, he did this and looked stupid or whatever. I will be like, he did this, he did this, he did this. That's what happened, right? So that's apparently the case law, right? So I would have to be kind of careful on that one. Also, one of you mentioned, or somebody in the chat mentioned, that the cameraman who is Sly Kane, Christopher P. Dantes, Sly Kane, somebody said he can be tried for treason under Article 114. The lawyer corrected that treason is a war crime. So he cannot be convicted of treason. It's not war crime. Now it can be an accessory, but he can't be treated for treason. So he can be an accessory to Vitaly's crimes. So for all of Vitaly's crimes that he was there for, he can be an accessory. For example, harassment, threatening to rob the woman, harassing the security guards. He can be an accessory to those crimes, but treason is a no-go. That's not going to happen under Article 114. The last thing that he mentioned is in the Philippines, with the penal code, we talked about the special penal code, the SPC, and the revised penal code, the RPC, the different kind of penal approaches. And what he said is there's not two codes. There's really only like a giant mix of codes, and the law loosely applies them from different areas. So essentially the law can like pick and choose which code to use. So it's not like you choose, we're going to only choose the RPC and not the SPC. They can choose both. So, or they can choose all. So the answer can be all of the above. And actually in that way, because the legal code is kind of mixed, they can choose the harshest laws to use for Vitaly, which I think is a good thing. I think having a mixed law system actually is better. So I'm actually happy from a legal sense, like a prosecutorial sense. I'm actually happy that their code is mixed. They don't have to pick mode A or mode B. They can just use whatever law they want to prosecute them, which actually is great. I actually love that. Okay, let's get some comments, and then we're gonna view some video on Vitaly's jail experience in the Philippines, which should be awesome. Willie Pierce from 1999 says, "I missed yesterday's and didn't get to bring up the fact that we all needed to put L's in the chat for your spelling teachers." Yeah, I am very sorry. My PowerPoint's spelling is always off, but I do my best. I do my best. I think I have a minimum of spelling errors today. I just did some shortenings of words, but I don't think I was all right. I mean, only 2 PowerPoints, so not that much chance to mess up today, guys. Not that much chance to mess up. Lexi, became a new member. Welcome. Phoenix Diaz for 10 Canadians says to quote Dragnet, just the facts, just the facts. Here's hoping you get to go. I would still go. I know a lot of you say it's not worth going. I would still go. I would just be careful. I think it would be worth it to see it, and it worth it to be there to make my presence known and say, look, I'm going to cover people who do this. If I can go, I think it would be important to go. I would abide by the laws and the rules, but I would focus on, hey, during the court, I'm going to be neutral. And then, we'll talk about general sentiment. We'll talk about other stuff that we can legally talk about, but I'd be very careful with my coverage. So I would still go if given the opportunity and abide by the rules. Ramiro de Souza for I think Uruguay, right? Uruguay 30 says your neutrality. It's a beige alert. Super Korean for 10 says stream idea. Do a stream reviewing episodes of Locked Up Abroad to further emphasize how bad prisons are overseas and to illustrate how little saving the embassy would go. I actually was sent an episode, a Philippines episode of Locked Up Abroad. The problem with that is two things. Number one, they will probably strike my channel. Number two, they will definitely copyright claim me. And that's a problem in and of itself, right? And even though it's fair use or whatever, I'd have to fight them or whatever else. So I need to be very careful with that. Maybe I could do it on a member stream, like a non-monetized member stream, maybe. But I'd still probably have to be careful on that one. So we'll see. I might try a little bit of it. Even today, we're going to watch some footage, which, we'll see if they try to claim me on it. I may end up having to clip out this footage if they try to claim me on it. I err on the side of giving more and then taking it out, even if I lose money or whatever. That's why your donations matter and your help matters, because sometimes I get demonetized and it just happens. Today is one of those days we're probably going to get an issue. So I do appreciate everybody who's donated. Star Helix for 10 says, longtime viewer, first time super chat. Hey, welcome. I completely agree with you. I went to Japan recently and it was very different than my trip a few years ago. Learned a bit of Japanese will immensely help. Yes, that helps in every country, but a bit of Japanese goes a long way. Like literally just knowing like sumimasen, and onegashimasu, right? Like that goes so far. So far. I joke in Korea, I survived for years knowing the phrase igo juseo, right? Which is give this, please, right? You can go very far with little information and little knowledge, just focusing on what is very practical and what is polite. Also, Rayobi says, legal mindset. Have you heard of wolf warriors? Yes, I've heard of that. It's a nickname for Chinese nationals in foreign countries acting like their Chinese passport and citizenship grants them protection or special privileges, even if it doesn't. I wonder if nuisance streamers think the same. I think so. By the way, I think that term is broader. I think it applies to like general nationalism, Chinese mainland Chinese nationalism. I think it's a broad term. But that said, yes. Also, Darp Mosh says, when will the Youngman interview come out? Never, because he's a criminal. So I did interview him, but I decided not to release it because he decided to go commit some crimes, and I do not support that. I do not support the commission of crimes. So I am not releasing the Youngman interview. That it was very irresponsible of him to do what he did. He threw a brick at the courthouse. So yeah, that's not happening. Peter Bark for 20 said, here's the demonetization fund. Thank you. Rayobi said, the only place I could for the nuisance streamers is the world of fear and hunger. They will not survive, I guarantee. No, they're not hard people. They're soft people. Let's see here. Fat Factor for 5 says, Sentinel Island idiot is 100% getting caned via a lathie stick bamboo by the Indian police. The police have free reign to beat people in custody. Well, that FAFO. I have no sympathy if he gets beaten for violating clear Indian law. He knew the law. Everybody knows that law. He would have had to bribe them to get there. By the way, Philippines meetup is happening. So this is happening in late May, early March, probably in BGC or Makati. I know for my folks that are in Cebu or in Mindanao or something, I'm sorry, but probably it's got to be in Manila because that'll be where I'm at. It'll probably be in BGC, maybe even on High Street where all this stuff went down. We'll have a nice positive contribution to High Street and BGC, and we will do that. So there is a Philippines meetup. It's going to happen. I will announce it probably a day or two before. So only the people that are in the Philippines can attend. No nuisance streamers or anything else. So it'll probably be a very last minute, a very late announcement thing, but it will be announced. I'm going to decide how to announce it as well. But yeah, we are going to do it. It's going to happen for sure. 100%. 100%. Phoenix DS says, could the American version of nuisance streamers be called Eagle Warriors? So that'd be fun. That'd be fun. Let's see here. I said late April, early May. Late April, early May. Okay. Kerbal says maybe Vitaly wanted to be Kane. Don't kink shame. I mean, this is worse. Watch. Just guys, when you see these videos, I'm about to show you, it is way worse. It is way, way, way worse. Gamercron says no caning, but hazing in prison is real. Oh, there you go. Le Waffles said, if you're heading to Southeast Asia, come to Malaysia. I live in Southeast Asia. So I've been to KL once by myself. I do plan to do a meetup in KL as well. I know some people have mentioned it. So yeah, I'm coming to KL as well. And we'll do something there. Wes Overcracker for 2 says, seen any prison cooking videos? They're good. No. And Kuya Bad says, should this filter out website block the kick in Asian countries? That won't work because once again, what they could try to do is block the uploading. But even then, people VPN around it. There's private servers. There's ways for them to upload around it. What they should do is ban the gambling part and make that a crime, because they are supported fully by stake.com. So when they are streaming, they arrest the streamers for support of online gambling. That's it. It's done. Right. And that undercuts their advertisers and that undercuts the revenue. And then they're good, and they need to actually enforce that and then ban them from the country, and problem solved. Right. Easy. Very, very easy. But you got to hit them in the money bags. That's the only way to do it. Dutch Lad 112 gifted 1 Legal Mindset membership. Thank you. I'm not in KL, but in Penang. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I might go to Penang as well. Maybe when I'm down in Phuket the next time, I'm take a trip to Penang. I do love the food. That regional food is great. Is fantastic. All right, let's talk about Philippine prison, huh? So many of you have sent me videos. Thank you for all the videos. First, we're going to watch. Oh, by the way, Quang Lee says, any plan to come to Vietnam? The foe there is unmatched. I was just in Ho Chi Minh City about a month or 2 ago. 2 months ago. 2 months ago, I was in Ho Chi Minh. I do plan to go to Hanoi and Da Nang. So I will maybe talk about that when I'm there. And obviously, ain't nobody going to mess around in Vietnam. They don't play over there. But I have to get my e-visa sorted out for Vietnam because, of course, Americans have to apply for that. Right. Rogaten says, much love from Scotland. You're amazing. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Dutch Lad also gifted a membership. Thank you. Appreciate y'all. All right. So we're going to start here with this is the Camp Bagong Diva. I forgot how to pronounce it. In Taguig. So this is the place for foreigners. So this is the first place he was locked up. Now he will be, from what I understand, he will be transferred to a Philippines prison to serve his actual time and maybe even in holding. But initially he was here. So at least for the first couple days he was here. And I want you guys to hear, this is actually from like 6 months ago, but I want you to hear the, okay. People are helping me out there. Bagong Diwa. Okay, thank you, guys. Pronunciation mindset. We have to make a meme. Pronunciation mindset. Bagong Diwa. Okay, thank you. So let's play this real quick.
Immigration is planning for the rehabilitation of their detention center at Camp Bagong Diwa in Taguig City due to the congestion problem. According to immigration spokesperson Dana Sandoval, the capacity of the current BI facility is only 100, but more than 300 foreign nationals are currently detained.
Did you guys hear that? So the capacity is 100, but more than 300 are detained. This was 6 months ago, right? So you're going to see kind of a theme here in a lot of the Philippine prisons is that almost all of them are overbooked. And you're going to see what they have to do when they're overbooked. It is nuts. I cannot believe when I watch this next video, this one is just a little bit, but like it's crazy.
This includes the illegal Chinese workers arrested at the Pogo Hub in Bamban,
Pogos are illegal gambling, like online gambling.
Tarlac, who were deported just yesterday, May 14.
It feels like it's getting smaller and smaller every year because the number of arrests that we have is getting bigger and bigger.
final
That's
discussion.
everybody kind of lined up in the jail. Like you can see, it's very full. So that's that one. That's the one for foreigners. So let's go inside another detention center. So this one is great. This is actually the Bikutan Detention Center. Let's take a look at this lovely place. Let's take a look at this lovely place. This is kind of fun. Let's take a look at this jail in the Philippines, shall we? Let's take a look. Looks lovely, right? I love how somebody's playing like old school. What is that? Old school pop. What's that song in the background? You guys can get it. Oh, it's Uptown Girl. Somebody's playing Uptown Girl. Somebody's playing. It's Uptown Girl. I think it's Uptown Girl. I think it's Uptown Girl. Yeah. I think Vitaly is the Uptown Girl in this circumstance, if you know what I'm saying. You know. Living in your uptown world. Yeah, crazy, right? Crazy, crazy, great stuff. So there we go. That's that one. And now we're gonna go to another one. And we're gonna look at the this is a documentary. It's in Tagalog. But it is very interesting. It's a documentary. We'll watch a little bit of it. But look at the crowding conditions here. This is absolutely, to me, like this is to me nuts. Let me get these chats first. Phoenix says Bagong Diwa sounds like a scaled up mouse utopia experiment. The Waffle says for sick blade Ringgit, Sarawak be a good place if you want culture. So I've heard. Jerry Ramey became a new member. Thank you. Michael Rua said from 5-star hotel to prison seems appropriate. Yeah, from the Shangri-La Hotel to the opposite of whatever Shangri-La is. The opposite of Shangri-La. Watch this. This is a just kind of a this is in Binan, but watch the level of capacity here and watch what these people have to do. Crazy stuff. Absolute crazy stuff. Look at the numbers here. So the capacity is 170 and there's 432. And this is in 2018. And it ain't got better. It ain't got any better, guys. It ain't got any better. So once again, I think that Vitaly is going to have a real fun time in Philippine prison. A real fun time in Philippine prison. Overcrowded, shelled cell, no air conditioning. Did I mention no air conditioning? Right? Zero air conditioning up in there. There might even be some fans. Legal mindset would definitely not fit in there. I'm not going to jail in the Philippines. I am being a good boy. I am a good boy. Yeah, Farvid says Filipino here. Yeah, it ain't. That's not a fun time. That is not a fun time. I am a very good boy. I'm 6'6". I would not last even a week. Like a day and I'm broken. Daruka Eon says, I just realized he might learn how to take a bath with a tabo. Maybe eat rice with just his hands. Well, I think that's true though. You don't get utensils, from what I heard. That's just the city jail, not the main jail. I'm assuming the main jail is worse. Phoenix Diaz says for 10 Canadian, despite all Vitaly's rage, he's just a rat in the cage. Larry Bowers says, have a poll. Who would make a better remake parody of Shawshank, RK or Vitaly? Actually, we need to have a poll. So now you guys have seen Philippine Prison. So which would you prefer? So this is the poll. Well, you only get two options, right? So PH Prison or caning, right? You get to choose. PH Prison or caning. Okay, poll's going up right now. I want to know. Because our Filipino lawyer friend said he would prefer the caning. He would prefer the caning. Super Korean for 10 says, my drill sergeants used to tell us nut to butt, make your buddy smile anytime we stood in line. This takes it to a new level. Yeah. Jill said for 129 Swedish krona, you can tell the hierarchy by the person's body weight. Ooh, yeah, that's kind of. And did you see that one of them was putting his kind of pack over the guy's crotch? So it's like, yeah, no, I'm gonna get the protection in here, So yeah. You better not pass gas in that person. You're gonna be the enemy number one if you do. The blind astronaut for $49.99 says, is the risk reward behind nuisance streaming really there? Why are streamers risking long prisons? Well, I think in Japan and Korea, they think they won't get them. Philippines is showing what they should do, and I'm all for it. And I think Philippines, I think it's going to nip it in the bud. Japan and Korea need to give them some similar. There needs to be some of that energy, some of the same energy in Japan and Korea in order to make sure nuisance streamers say, you know what, it's not worth it. You know what, I'm good. I'm all right. I don't need any of that. We don't need any of the smoke, because I think if some of that was coming out of Japan or Korea, they would definitely think twice. Turtle for 5 says, RKI would love the Philippine jails. He'd be very popular. Vitaly wouldn't last because of his size and attitude. The smell when it hits, plus heat. Yep. No steroids in jail either. The official Ken says Vitaly will have inmates acting like mechanics with him. Screw, nut, and bolt. Jersey Girl said nobody is built for that life. I'll take the caning. Gamercrom says Billy Bead Prison is the main jail and it's the worst. I saw a documentary on that. It was 1 hour and it was very long. So I didn't show it, but we may end up going there if we go there on another stream. Maybe we'll test to see if we get demonetized on a member stream watching that. The Philippine prison reminds me of Kowloon walled city from Hong Kong back in the old days. It was a tight and congested building that people lived in. Yeah. Once again, more gas comments. Better not pass gas. Kwang Lee, I don't want to imagine the bathroom situation. I'm pretty sure it's a bucket. Baton says no AC in the sausage fest has to be wild. Canned sardine sleeping style. Does the prison have 5 stars on Google? It should. I don't know. It's probably rated less than North Sentinel Island. Storm Overload says, look, Cozy Vitaly is in heaven. Sobi said from Shangri-La to Shank-Grilla. And QB for 5 says, American prisons, despite how dysfunctional they are 5-star hotels in comparison to what we saw. Yeah, I'd want to go to prison in America over that every day. Hey, Legal Mindset, do you play sports? Can you play yes, yes? I can play yes, yes. You're looking at a king of the chess club. No, I'm joking. I did play tennis when I was younger. I never played competitive sports. I was a bit of a nerd, if that wasn't clear out there. A little bit of a weeb, a little bit of a nerd when I was in high school and college. But I did play tennis when I'm younger. Now I like swimming. I was scuba certified. I used to do that all the time. I still do a lot of snorkeling, stuff like that. Had an issue with repressurization. I still like to play tennis. I'll play volleyball too, other stuff like that. Not like Top Gun style, but still fun. But yeah, I do get out there, and despite I'm not a complete neat. Mike says no bottled water, RIP Valves. Yeah. Cody Andrew as a new member, thank you. Richard M for 5 Oz says, imagine Vitaly did this during COVID. Ooh, that would be bad. That would be real bad. Toric Rama for 2 says, wonder what normal crime guys these are in for. They could be in there for a whole lot of different things. That's the whole point, is that some of them are in there for very serious crimes and some of them are in for not serious crimes. Some of them are pending trial. And they're just detained pending trial. Get Zerd for 5 says, this reminds me of how terrible it is to live in a hive city in 40K FAFO, big time. Yeah, it is kind of like a hive city. That is kind of like a hive city. Chessboard, one night in Bangkok. Oh, it's funny. Dead or Alive beach volleyball. I did play that game. Okay, somebody in the chat said, how serious do you think Johnny is going to be let go by Trump? That's a joke. He's never going to get out that way. He's not going to be pardoned. That's not happening. Johnny is not right or left or anything. He is a psychopath who will try to use anything to get out of trouble. That's Johnny. Johnny is not political. And no sane politician that cares about their record or history would ever try to help Johnny Somali. Nobody would help that guy on right or left, period. By the way, a lot of Dead or Alive beach volleyball fans in the chat, which you know, I guess I'll play the clip.
Degenerates. You guys degenerates.
Joking. It was a fun game. Jordan Kyoth says, growing up, picking out my own Switch, going with the caning to get it over with. So in the poll, 83% of you would rather be caned than go to Philippine prison. Only 20% of you would rather go to Philippine prison over caning. Although do remember, caning, they do go very hard, and they will draw blood. And if blood is drawn, then they stop and resume it later. But you know, still 80% of you are still going to take the cane over volleyball. You're like, you know what? I'm going to take the caning and just get it over with. All right, guys, that's what I had for today. Nothing crazy. For you guys. Shout out to my locals, by the way, Veggie Han, JP Ravenfire, Danielle Repton. Appreciate you guys. Very based. I may be back tomorrow. If not, we're going to try to do one Friday. That will be my last stream for probably 4 or 5 days. Then I'm going to go into Songkrong lockdown. There may be some pre-recorded videos, some clips, other stuff to go, but we'll get something there. Let's see. Hold on. Come on, Legal Mindset. We aren't bad, right? No, you're pretty bad. You guys are pretty bad. But I still love you. And the best thing is that you guys, while you may be degenerate, like Elfire Ava gifting 10 Legal Mindset memberships, the based elf coming in big there, the legal VTuber out there, California legal. Appreciate it. Thank you so much for the support. If you received a gift membership, please say thank you. And guys, I'm going to catch you on the next one. Meanwhile, we know what Vitaly, Somali, and that random nuisance streamer who's locked up in an island Indian prison are doing right now. And they're not doing what we're doing, which is celebrating
Emotional cabbage.
Phoenix Diaz. Also, thank you, another 5. Gosh, you guys are too good. You're going to have me.
You are coping the seething. You just You are coping the seething. You just can't believe what you're seeing. Yes, you're coping the seething. The truth it is all day, and now you are molding.